Hello there. Today we're going to have an interesting lesson on grammar. What is the subject? Different ways to say but. But before that, I would like to let you know that my name is Lunalo Benjamin, as you're seeing here on the screen. So without much further ado, let's get started and see what we are going to learn. So here we are told, or rather we are saying that there are different ways to say but in English language. There are so many different ways, different alternatives. So first of all, look at, let us say something a little bit about the word but. So the word but is used to show contrast or opposition. English has got so many alternatives that help learners to sound more clearer, more formal or more natural depending on the situation. So we're going to have a look at different ways, different alternatives to say but. Let us start with the first one here appearing on the screen, the word but. So what does the word but mean? This is one of the most common alternatives to but. It is more formal and is often used in writing. It usually comes after a full stop or a semicolon. So most of the time when we're using this word, but it often comes after a full stop or after a semicolon. Let us look at some examples appearing on the screen here. The first word is, I wanted to attend the meeting. However, I was feeling unwell. The word however here can be replaced with the word but. However, but. So I wanted to attend the meeting. However, I was feeling unwell. This person was sick. He wasn't in his full healthy condition, so he couldn't attend the meeting. The exam was difficult. However, most students passed. The word however can be replaced with the word but, and the meaning of the sentence will still stand. Exam was difficult. However, most students passed. Most students passed the exams despite it being difficult. She studied hard. However, she did not get the expected results. She studied hard. However, she did not get the expected results. Perhaps she was expecting to get an A B plus, or a B star, depending on what she was expecting. But because of two or three reasons, she couldn't get expected result. Let us look at another way to say but, and here's the word nevertheless. Nevertheless. Nevertheless sounds like two words, but it is pronounced as one word. Nevertheless. This shows contrast. What is contrast? Contrast simply means opposite, the opposite of the statement. So this shows contrast, but it also suggests determination or persistence. Is formal and common in academic or serious writing. Let us look at some different examples that shows different ways of using the word nevertheless. The journey was long. The journey was long. Nevertheless, they arrived safely. Yeah, the journey was too long. The journey was long. Nevertheless, they arrived safely. It shows contrast. It shows contrast of the statement. He was warned about the risks. He was warned about the risks. Nevertheless, he continued. Perhaps it was dangerous. It was at night. Maybe the road has got criminals that would maybe attack them, but the guys had to continue the journey. Yeah, he was warned. He was warned about the risks. Nevertheless, he continued, depending with what the person was doing. The tasks. The task was challenging. The task was challenging. Difficult, for instance, the task was challenging. Nevertheless, she completed it on time. The task was challenging. Nevertheless, she completed it on time. So these words But rather, this word here, nevertheless, in each sentence can be replaced with the word but, and the meaning of the sentence will still stand. Let us proceed and have a look at some other ways. Nonetheless. Nonetheless sounds more like nevertheless, but they're used differently. So this has almost the same meaning as nevertheless and is used in similar situations. So nonetheless and nevertheless, they're used almost in the same manner. Let us have a look at some examples here to demonstrate how to use the word nonetheless. So the weather was bad. Mhm. Maybe it was snowing, it was terribly raining, there was a heavy storm, or maybe it was very hot, very windy, and the weather was terrible. The weather was bad. Nonetheless, the match continued. You can imagine you're playing a football match in a snowy stadium. You can imagine how are the players even going to kick the ball. The weather was bad. Nonetheless, the match continued. He lacks experience. Nonetheless, he performed well. He lacks experience. The person was experienced. He lacks experience, no experience. Nonetheless, he performed well. So the word nonetheless can be replaced with the word but, and the sentence and the meaning of the sentence will still remain the same. The price is high. The price of what? Perhaps it's the price of an iPhone, the price of a television, a Nikon camera, Canon, etc. The price is high. Nonetheless, people still buy it. Yeah, the price is high. Nonetheless, people still buy it. Let us have a look at another example. Yet, the word yet. Yet. This is less formal and is common in both speaking and writing. It often comes in the middle of a sentence. It often comes in the middle of a sentence. The word itself here, we're told that this is more informal and common talk. Examples: she's young. She is young, yet very responsible. Have you ever seen this type of people? Have you ever seen this type of people? Someone is young, but the level of maturity and how the person takes responsibility is just on another level. She is young, yet very responsible. The book is short. The book is short, yet informative. The book is short, perhaps 10 pages, 15 pages, 20 pages. Of course, that is a very short book, but the quality of the information from the book itself is just top notch. The book is short, yet informative. Informative. He apologized, yet he repeated the mistake. He apologized, yet he repeated the mistake. Of course, once you do something wrong, you go ahead and apologize. People expect at least for you to be responsible enough, be remorseful, and stop misbehaving. But what happened in this sentence is the opposite of the expectation. He apologized, yet he repeated the mistake. Let's proceed and have a look at another way, or rather another alternative to say but. This is the word although. 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 This is used at the beginning or middle of a sentence to introduce contrast. What is contrast? Contrast simply means the opposite of a given statement, opposite of a given word, or rather suggestion, or rather an argument. Although, let us have a look at some examples. Although it was raining, yes, it was raining, they continued working. What do you do when it's raining? Of course, if it is raining, what are you supposed to do? Pack your bags, pack your items, close the shop, and go take cover or wait until the rain stops for you to continue with what you're doing. But what is happening in this sentence is exactly the opposite. Although it was raining, they continued working. Although it was raining, they continued walking. Perhaps it was just drizzling. Maybe the rain was not that heavy. It was raining. You have to know that. He accepted the job, although the salary was low. He accepted the job, nevertheless, despite the fact that he accepted the job, although the salary was low. I don't know how low is low. I don't know how low is low, but I believe you are low. Perhaps my law is not your law. So he accepted the job, although the salary was low. The last example here to demonstrate the use of the word although. Although she was tired, she kept working. Although she was tired, she kept working. And I think you realize something here that when although comes at the beginning of the sentence has to be punctuated correctly by the use of a comma, as you can see here. There is a comma over here. Although she was tired, there's another comma here. Let's proceed. On the other hand is used to present a contrasting point of view. Contrasting point of view, different opinion, different perspective. It is common in discussions and explanations. Sometimes is also used in arguments, that is debates. We can use the word on the other hand. Let us have a look at some examples. The city is crowded. On the other hand, it has many opportunities. You expect that in a crowded city, mostly it's going to be avoided by people. It's crowdy, it's noisy, definitely there are a lot of crime here and there. But what happens with the opportunity? There are so many. Although, rather, the city is crowded, on the other hand, it has many opportunities. Online learning is flexible. On the other hand, it requires discipline. Online learning is flexible. On the other hand, it requires discipline. That is true. You might be doing online learning and your phone keep popping, the notifications keep popping here and there, and at the end of the day, you're going to be distracted and you're not going to benefit on the lesson you have registered. So online learning is flexible. On the other hand, it requires discipline. Yeah. The job pays well. The job pays well. On the other hand, it is stressful. It's stressful. The job pays well. On the other hand, it is stressful. Let's continue. So, this is similar to although, but sounds more conversational. It's common in spoken English. The word so. It sounds like although, mostly used in conversation and is common in spoken English. Example, I like the house. I like the house. So it's expensive. I don't know how expensive is expensive, but I believe you're expensive. Perhaps my expensive is not your expensive. I like the house. I like the house. So it's expensive, and ensure there is a comma here for proper punctuation. She agreed to help. She agreed to help. Help in what? Lifting the bag, making a call, taking the kid to school, etc. She agreed to help. So she was busy. That means she had to stop. The movie was slow, so interesting. The movie was slow, so it was interesting. All right. Here, there is a paragraph that we're supposed to go through it to see how these different alternatives of the word but have been used to show different ways in which you can use them in this paragraph. Many students rely heavily on the word but when speaking or writing. Many students rely heavily on the word but when speaking or writing. That is very true. Oftenly, you'll hear people saying but, but, forgetting that there are other so many alternatives that can be used instead of the word but. However, using a variety of contrast words helps make English more expressive and mature. For example, Anna may say, the test was difficult. Nevertheless, I tried my best. The test was difficult. Nevertheless, I tried my best. This sounds more confident and polished. Yeah. By using this word, nevertheless, it makes your English sounds more confident and polished. Even to the person who is listening to you will say, wow, this person knows what is doing instead of H and every time using the word but. Okay. In academic writing, let me just put it over here, or rather here. In academic writing, words like however, nonetheless, and on the other hand, are especially very useful. They help writers to organize ideas clearly and show balanced arguments. Although these words may seem formal at first, regular practice makes them easier to use. So once you learn how to use these words, nevertheless, however, but on the other hand, although, etc., it makes your English sound mature, confident, and more polished. Let us look at the last part of this comprehension. So they help writers organize ideas clearly and show balanced arguments. Although these words may seem formal at first, regular practice makes them easier to use. In everyday conversation, yet and though are very common. The speaker might say, I'm tired, yet I must finish my work. Or the food was spicy, so I enjoyed it. These expressions make speech more, rather sound more natural and blah, blah, blah. Let us have a look at the remaining part of our lesson. Here, there's a small exercise that I would like you to try. Here, you can see there's an exercise here that I would like you to try. I'm going to do question 1 and 2. Then you shall do question 3, 4, and 5. The lesson was long. However, it was interesting. So I can use the word however. I can use the word but. I can use the word nevertheless. The lesson was long. Nevertheless, it was interesting. He's inexperienced. Number 2. Question number 2. He is experienced, the person without enough experience for the work. Hasn't been doing the work for long, therefore he doesn't have that experience. He is inexperienced. Nonetheless, he learns quickly. Try number 3, number 4, number 5. Put your answer down there in the comment section and let me see how you did. That is it for today's lesson. Thank you so much. Thank you to be part of this journey. Make sure you don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification button, comment, like, and share so that we may grow together. See you in our next lesson. Bye.